Kia ora and welcome to Level 2's first lot of Flip Learning for the year. This is information for you working towards Achievement Standard 91333 or 2.7, which is analyse the application of risk management strategies to a challenging outdoor activity, and it's worth 3 credits. This achievement standard requires you to apply risk management strategies to a camp and associated challenging outdoor activities. What I mean by challenging outdoor activities is one in which you are required to demonstrate personal competence in a risky situation. For example, kayaking, mountain biking, tramping, rock climbing, orienteering, etc. You will be expected to reflect on your work both pre, during and post camp, so before, during and after. Evidence of your application of risk management strategies will come from your observations on camp and reflections in your safety behaviour log. The strategies must be relevant to the identified risks. How will your assessment be marked? So what I've put up here is the outline for achieved with merit and achieved with excellence. Achieved, you need to analyse the application of risk management strategies to a challenging outdoor activity. Step that up to merit, it says analyse in depth the application of risk management strategies. And for excellence, it's analyse comprehensively the application of risk management. And we will discuss the difference between these at a later stage. For this assessment, you are required to complete a PowerPoint presentation in which you analyse the application of selected risk management strategies to the outdoor camp. As part of this activity, you're required to 1. Complete a pre-camp risk management analysis, 2. Participate in the camp, and 3. Maintain an on-site safety behaviour log throughout the camp. Essentially, you'll complete a detailed RAMS form for your chosen activity, reflect on it during camp, and then analyse the good, the bad and the ugly at the end. What would you have changed in your plan? Why would you have done this? How might the outcome have been different? Obviously, for those not attending the Marlborough Sounds camp, there will be similar opportunities for you in the Year 9 Kaitoki camp. The activities included on the Marlborough Sounds trip, as you can see there, are sea kayaking, which we'll do 3 days of, tramping with a pack on, obviously, and mountain biking, where you'll be carrying a day pack on that trip, and the rest of your luggage will get transported to our end point. Alternatively, if you go on the Kaitoki camp with the Year 9s, your activities will be different depending on which group you are going with. Risk. Risk is unavoidable and important in adventure programs. A quality program will manage but will not and cannot eliminate the risks of its activities, and will inform participants of the certainty that the activities are not, strictly speaking, safe. Now, what I want you to do while you're watching this is to consider both archery and skateboarding, of which many of you would have participated in as part of the Year 11 program last year. I want you to record some of the risks in each activity and link them into one of the 3 categories: equipment, environment, and people. So take some time to do that now while pausing the video. Next, risk is the exposure to the possibility of some loss, including physical and emotional trauma. So what I mean with that is, with the risk you've identified in the previous statement, what I'd like you to do now is consider and record down what some of the loss that may occur for that particular risk, considering both physical and emotional trauma. Thirdly, I've put a definition there. Safety can generally be defined as being free from harm or risk. Basically, what we're being is safety conscious. So by considering all the potential risks and identifying ways in which we can eliminate or minimise the risks, Safety based on this definition cannot be guaranteed, but by producing RAMS forms, which we will get into a bit later, we can establish a plan. Lastly, I'd like to talk about perceived versus real risk. So real risks are unavoidable and actually frequently a desirable part of adventure experience. It's what gets the adrenaline pumping. Perception is generally an emotional reaction, so it will vary depending on a person's skill level and confidence in a chosen activity. So I'd like you to consider bungee jumping versus sea kayaking. Write down which one you think is more dangerous and explain why. Write down which one you think would be scarier and explain why. Pause the video while you do this. Okay, my thoughts on it. Bungee jumping for me seems far scarier than sea kayaking. The thought of throwing yourself off a bridge into the abyss creates a sense of fear. This is an emotional reaction. The perceived risk is far greater than sea kayaking. However, sea kayaking is far more dangerous. Why do I say that? All the unknown factors you cannot manage, which fall into the three categories: people, environment, and equipment. The greatest risk in kayaking would be the weather, particularly in New Zealand, where it is so changeable. High winds, gusts, and willywaws, which is a sudden blast of wind descending down from the mountains to the sea, and can be quite common in the Marlborough Sounds. Equipment needed for kayaking, well, there's a lot of that. Paddles, PFDs, which is a life jacket, spray skirts, water pumps, paddle floats, flares, communication devices, maps and compasses, as well as the repair equipment for things like rudders, which are a common part of the kayak to break when you're out on a trip. People, well, you generally would be travelling in a group. Well, how are you going to communicate? What happens if someone falls out? What if someone gets in the way of a boat? How do you avoid ferries? This hopefully is a clear example of the difference between perceived and real risk, and we can discuss this further in class.